Well, today, as we continue to consider with one of our good friends and consultants, Max Fisher, what it means for us to be on mission, we are going to consider the hardship of being off mission. And you go way back to the beginning of the Bible in Genesis chapter 3, that's where everything goes off the rails. And it wasn't because Adam and Eve intended for everything to go off the rails, it's because the serpent uttered a simple question: did God really say? And those words led to temptation, that led Adam and Eve to disobedience, that led to their being ultimately pushed out of the garden and causing all of the difficulties that we experience, even some thousands of years later. And so, Max, just as that serpent was able to bring Adam and Eve kind of off mission and hardship into their life, I would love for you to share with us just a couple of things, maybe a story or two, about places where you've seen churches experience hardship for getting off mission.
Dan, I see it all the time. And the tricky part about it, and the devil's a great liar, is that it's usually really good things that get churches the most distracted. A lot of schools think, and I've heard them say this, that the only way that we're going to grow, the only way that we're going to make it is if we start a school, or we get hip and we start that coffee shop, or we need to be able to be relevant, or if only we could be digital, or if we were more traditional or less traditional in our worship, whatever the case may be. They always look to the things that are going on around them and not to what Jesus is specifically calling them to do,
Mm.
which is to love and serve their communities with the gospel.
Yeah, and you worked with me enough on a couple of different situations to hear me often say, it's not complicated, right? IRS tax code, that's complicated. When human beings get involved, when we start asserting ourselves, insisting on our own way, that's when it gets complicated. The work of the Lord is not complicated. But how important is it, Max, the things that we've been able to do together, the things that we've seen together, how important is it for us to focus on that one true mission in order to stay on mission? Because as you said, the things that get us distracted, God made all things good, but they're not the greatest good.
Well, exactly. And that's where Genesis does an awesome thing when it walks with its partners. We have a conversation with God's people and allows for the word and for the spirit to communicate and to speak into our situations where we're asking this question. This is a critical question, I think, is how do we love our neighbors? We know we're called to love them, but we're to love them like Christ. And when we start asking ourselves what that looks like for us, we can ask ourselves, what does that look like for the people that we do seek to reach and to love and to serve? So we facilitate that opportunity of conversation so that we can find the thing that God is calling us to do, not just the thing that you, or someone who maybe has really creative ideas wants, but the thing that is needed and necessary for us to serve faithfully the mission that God has given us as a congregation.
Yeah, I'm with you, Max. And the place I think where this really becomes abundantly clear in our planning process is where we ask that question: what is the single most important thing for you to accomplish in the next 12 months? When it gets that level, it gets real. And then it is our duty as the people of God to coalesce around that vision and coalesce around that call to make things actually happen, taking them from up in the ether and bringing it down to real life. And that is what really gets me excited about what we get to do as we're living on mission. So, hey, Max, thanks a bunch for joining us again.
There you go. Hey, Dan, thank you so much. Always an awesome opportunity.
Great. Appreciate it.